Hey guys, Dr. John here, and look, this video is for anybody who is actively going through an episode where you've thrown your back out, you feel a lot of pain, you feel locked up, it may be very difficult to drive just a few minutes or sit anywhere, maybe difficult to sleep and move around, just, you know what I'm talking about, just all those horrible symptoms that can happen when we throw our back out. This video is for you. I have experienced this myself, first and foremost, and I've worked with thousands of people who have gone through this as well. So there are patterns. And there's a way to think about this that can help us not only get out of this situation as soon as possible, but understand why it happens and to ultimately help us prevent it going forward into the future. There are absolutely things that we can do to help us with that, and I want to share my experience with you and just some few quick tips and ideas to consider to help you get out of it as soon as possible and then prevent it going forward. First and foremost, if you are somebody who is in this situation currently because of an accident, maybe a car accident or a real severe fall or sport injury, something that happened in one moment in time, this is not necessarily for you. That's a whole different conversation that we're happy to have with you, but this video is more for people who have built up stress over time that has eventually led to these episodes where we've thrown our back out and we're feeling all these symptoms. That is the most common thing that we see. So if you have had an accident recently and you are feeling these discomforts because of that injury, then this video is not necessarily for you. Give us a call and we're happy to talk with you about that. So number one, we have to understand first and foremost that for the most part, these types of episodes, they happen because we have accumulated stress over time, right? We've accumulated stress in our backs, in our spines, in our bodies over time, and we have eventually gotten ourselves to a position where our body can no longer handle it anymore, and it just throws us into this episode, this crisis, whatever you want to call it, and now we're in this, in pain, discomfort, we're feeling all the symptoms, etc. And so we have to understand that it is so important to realize that it did not happen yesterday. It did not happen a week ago. For the most part, these are things that have accumulated over time, sometimes many years and decades. And so in order to heal and to get well, the body also needs time. Nature needs time to heal. And that's okay. That's just a part of the process. And so we have to start off with good expectations, right? And I think the takeaway here is when we find ourselves in these situations, and again, I have been there too, we have to relax. We have to take a deep breath, realize that we have gotten ourselves here over time and that we can get better, we can get healthy, we can get stronger, we can prevent these things going forward, but it's going to take time too, and that is okay. So we have to be honest with ourselves there, first and foremost. The risk is that we start making decisions not from a cool, calm, and collected state of mind, but we start rushing. We start acting with a lot of urgency, and we end up making decisions that may not be good long term, right? And the example that I like to use, this is very common, is that oftentimes people will want to get out of the symptom as quickly as possible, like immediately, right? And so they'll do anything and everything to get out of the symptom without necessarily correcting the underlying cause. So they'll mask it with medications of various kinds or whatever. And so the example that I like to use that makes a lot of sense is like, imagine in our house we have a fire, right? And the alarm is going off, and instead of addressing the fire, why it's going on or putting it out, we just take the alarm off of the ceiling, pull the battery out and throw it away, right? That does absolutely nothing for the problem itself, which is the fire, right? And so if all we do is just act out of urgency and rush, and we just try and get out of the symptom as quickly as possible without addressing the underlying cause, we put ourselves at risk for more and more injury and never really breaking the cycle, right? And so that's what we want to avoid. Next is we have to understand that there is a silver lining to this episode that we're feeling right now, and this pain, discomfort that we're feeling. Number one, it lets us know that our body is functioning properly, right? Like if we have injured ourselves, then we should feel the consequences of that injury. If not, then we will more than likely continue to injure ourselves further and further without the proper signaling to let us know, hey, you're doing something wrong, right? And so the body is sending these signals, and it's locking us down, and it's keeping us from moving well. to try and prevent further injury. So the silver lining is like, hey, you know, my body is working well, it's functioning properly, and I need to listen to these signals so that I can make a change or modify something so that I don't continue to have these cycles in my life. And so there's a silver lining there. It's actually a good thing. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but the reason that we're feeling this way is to prevent further injury. So the body feels scared, if you will. It's in an unsafe physiology. It doesn't feel safe. It doesn't feel secure, and so it's doing everything it can to try and prevent further injury. So the takeaway here, knowing this, is that we have to do things. We have to start to do things that communicate safety to our body, to our brain, to our joints, so that it can start to relax, so that it can start to let go of that response. And once it starts to let go, then we can start to build, right? Then we can start to, build more stability in our body, build more strength, build more resilience. But we have to do things first to communicate safety, right? And I don't want to make this video about, okay, do these specific things. Everybody's different. Everybody has different capabilities. But we just have to start to communicate safety to our body if we are in this episode or this crisis in the moment where our back is thrown out. For me, I just like to work with very little simple movements, right? Just simple movements. If you can walk, great. If just something as simple as walking, even if it's just for a few minutes, can communicate a lot of safety to your brain, to your nervous system, to your joints. If you can't walk, if you can't stand, maybe it's just rocking back and forth on all fours on the floor. Just any kind of wiggling, any kind of movement that you can get within your limits. We don't want to push it. We don't want to try and force anything. We're just working within the boundaries that we have to communicate safety. And the more that we do this, repetition counts, right? Repetition matters. The more that we do this, the more your body will start to relax and allow you more and more movement. And once you get more and more movement restored, then you can start to build, right? You can start to build more strength, more balance, more resilience, and things like that. So those are very important, but we have to take it step by step. And then lastly, we have to understand, what is the structural imbalance that is creating these cycles? What is the structural reason why I keep falling into these episodes or these crises where I'm throwing my back out, where I have a lot of pain, discomfort? There's a structural reason. And so what we do in our office, first step is we want to see it. We want to discover what that is. We want to make it very clear to the people that we work with. Look, this is a normal spine. This is where you're at the present time. What is the gap, right? What are the structural imbalances that are causing the pain, discomfort, episodes, whatever? It's normally very obvious. And from there, the solution becomes clear. We start to work towards restoring proper structure. If you're in a crisis, chiropractic is fantastic for this. It's fantastic to help us get out sooner. If you feel great, chiropractic is fantastic to prevent these things from happening in the future and continue to build your resilience and your strength and your ability to adapt to the stresses of life. Super, super important. When we move and when we adjust the joints of the spine, we're moving your joints through its normal range of motion, resetting everything, making sure that all those joints can move fluidly. This is very safe. It communicates a lot of safety to the brain and nervous system and can help you get out of the crisis that you're in now. If you have any questions, right? Any questions or any concerns, or you want to talk to us about, anything that we talked about in this video or how we work, you want to get in touch with us, you can call us, text us, send us an email. We'd be happy to speak with you. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this helps. To summarize, what are we looking for? Number one, we have to set proper expectations and understand that we probably got to this point over time, and we need to be okay with giving ourselves time to get out. It's okay, right? Number two, we have to start communicating safety to our body and to our brain, to our joints. Small little movements, working within the boundaries that we have, can do wonders, right? Over time, that's going to expand. You're going to gain more of your function back, and from there, we can start to build. But first, be okay with just small things that communicate safety back to your body. And then number three, get adjusted. Come take care of your spine with regular chiropractic care. In my opinion, it's the GOAT for anybody who's looking to maintain the health and the structure and the function of their spine on a long-term basis. Thank you so much. We look forward to speaking to you soon.